Hello, my name is Marline McKernan, and I will be deconstructing the shield parry attack from the 3D open world game The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch, along with the latest God of War for PS4. The shield in its simplest form is used to negate damage dealt to the player. The player can activate the shield by holding down the appropriate button. Holding out the shield will block most attacks from the front, be it melee or ranged. While holding out the shield does protect the player from most damage, using the shield as simply a defensive measure is the least useful of its capabilities. The shield can also be used to parry attacks when the player either inputs a button press or activates their shield with timing. Correctly timing a parry attack results in a perfect guard, as it is referred to in The Legend of Zelda, in which the player takes no damage and is able to stun or stop an enemy melee attack or deflect a ranged attack. Breath of the Wild indicates to the player when they get a perfect guard by slowing time and showing bright blue sparks. God of War indicates to the player when they get a perfect parry by doing a similar action and slowing down time. Timing a parry just right to get a perfect guard takes some skill, and both games do a great job of rewarding the player and making them feel good about making it happen by making the audio and visual effects look exciting. In The Legend of Zelda, missing the timing of a parry can leave Link vulnerable. There is a split second of time that the animation takes to complete, that Link is left wide open. This is the risky part of attempting to shield parry, especially when going up against more dangerous enemies such as Guardians. Guardians represent a great example of the risk-reward of using the shield parry in Breath of the Wild. The risk of choosing to use the shield parry against a Guardian is that missing the timing is likely to result in getting one shot. Successfully timing the parry, however, results in dealing high damage to the enemy Guardian. In God of War, timing the parry just right is arguably a bit easier than in Breath of the Wild. God of War only requires one button press to bring up the shield with timing to perform a parry attack, as opposed to Zelda, which requires two button presses, one to bring up the shield and one to parry. One less button press makes it so that landing successful parries in God of War is much more common. In Breath of the Wild, the entire parry animation is less than a second long, and the timing with which the attack must collide with the shield when parrying must be within the first fifth of the animation time. The player must be able to predict the near exact moment that the enemy attack will land and activate the parry at that time. The game tells the player that their timing was slightly off by still showing the block in slow motion, but the enemy guard is not broken or their attack disrupted. One edge case for the shield parry can be found in God of War with Kratos fighting against trolls. Trolls, at least the first one, is meant to be a boss fight. The developers might have felt that allowing the shield parry to do its regular disruption against the trolls would be too powerful and cause an imbalance in the fight. So their solution was to turn the parry into a simple damage-blocking shield, rather than an offensive measure. You can see this in the fight between Kratos and the troll by the fact that Kratos hits the parries, shown by him swinging his shield outwards rather than keeping it in front of him, but the troll does not appear affected by the parry. This edge case was a solution for the developers to keep boss fights such as this one balanced, since the shield parry's power grows as the enemy's power grows. Making parry attacks require precise timing allows for parrying to be a skillful feature. Each time the player succeeds at a perfect guard makes the game very rewarding and fun for those who want to parry while also giving some form of defense, or perhaps the less skilled players who like holding up their shield for half the fight. This feature is great for those players who want to enjoy a combat that takes more skill than the simple hit it till it dies approach. Especially when it comes to heavier hitting enemies, having an ability that can defend or deflect their attacks helps level the playing ground without giving the player a powered up weapon.